Starting his budget roundup speech, Deputy Prime Minister Heng thanked members of Parliament for highlighting issues like the importance of Singapore's reserves as well as the need to act to help Singaporeans in the changing political and economic landscape.
I want to situate Budget 2021 and Singapore's future within the larger forces sweeping the world. Singapore sits at a crossroads between the East and the West. It is a position that we have harnessed to maintain our relevance to the world amid the flux and changing tides of global political and economic developments. But we cannot take our standing in the world for granted. It is something that we have to painstakingly maintain as the world and region evolve so that we remain relevant.
DPM Heng also remarked that some members, quote, argued selectively without acknowledging the broader impact of COVID-19 and the outcomes of the government's decisive interventions.
He responded to a leader of the opposition, Pritam Singh's call for an increase in the scrutiny of expenditure and invited the Workers' Party to do the same themselves.
Mr. Pritam Singh asked that we increase the scrutiny of expenditures and to set up an independent parliamentary budget office to enhance such scrutiny. I'm glad Mr. Singh agrees with the need to be prudent and accountable in our spending. And in fact, it will be very helpful if each time Mr. Singh or his colleagues ask the government to spend more, to give us their estimates of how much it will cost and how they will fund it. But instead, the Workers' Party has called on the government to spend $20 million to set up an independent parliamentary budget office to do this job for them. Even as they call for more scrutiny on government expenditure, we invite them to hold themselves to the same scrutiny. As I've outlined, prudence and stewardship are core values of this government. We hold ourselves to high standards and work hard to ensure that our spending is cost-effective to deliver the best value for money for taxpayers. We have achieved world-leading outcomes while running one of the leanest governments in the world. We are always looking to achieve better outcomes with less, and we will say more about this during MOF's COS. In addition to independent audits by the Auditor General's Office, we also have parliamentary scrutiny of our spending through the Estimates and Public Accounts Committee. The Workers' Party is represented in both of them. Such an office would be a wasteful duplication of these functions.
Mr. Heng also touched on alternatives to the GST hike to fund current spending needs. This after several members had asked that the government consider other forms, like Foo Mee Har's suggestion of a one-off wealth tax.
But DPM Heng said imposing such levies will not replace the need to increase the GST.
Let me reiterate. We do tax wealth, and we have been raising wealth taxes over the years. This is not the question. Rather, the practical question has always been how to design wealth taxes moves to ensure that they are effective. First, we must ensure that the tax cannot be easily avoided, especially by those with more means. Otherwise, it will not achieve the social equity and fairness that we want. Second, we must balance between progressivity and staying competitive to grow our economy. Singapore must remain attractive to those who work hard and those who invest to create good jobs. Because growing the economy is the most sustainable way to generate revenue and raise our standards of living. Third, the move should add to our revenue resilience and adequacy. The government will continue to study wealth tax options